The turkey was perfect. Golden brown, sitting in the center of my mother-in-law's dining table like a Norman Rockwell painting. 23 people crammed into that house, 3 generations. Laughter, football on TV, the smell of pumpkin pie drifting from the kitchen. I was carving the turkey when I noticed it. My wife, Lauren, sitting across the table, her hand resting on top of someone else's. Not just anyone's, her cousin Derek's. The one who'd flown in from Seattle, the one she'd been so excited to see after 5 years. Their fingers were intertwined under the edge of the tablecloth. I watched her thumb trace small circles on his palm. She was smiling at him the way she used to smile at me. My knife stopped mid-slice. Her mother was asking me something about white meat versus dark. I couldn't hear her. There was a ringing in my ears that drowned out everything else. Then Derek leaned over and whispered something in Lauren's ear. She giggled, actually giggled, and that's when I made my decision. I set down the carving knife, reached into my pocket, and pulled out my phone. "Before we say grace," I announced, loud enough to cut through the chatter, "I think everyone should hear something." The room went quiet. Lauren's face went pale. I connected my phone to the Bluetooth speaker on the bookshelf, the one we'd used for Christmas carols last year. "These are voice messages," I said calmly, "that Lauren has been sending to Derek for the past 8 months. Her mother's fork clattered onto her plate. I pressed play. Lauren's voice filled the room, breathy, intimate, saying things no wife should say to her cousin. "I can't wait until Thanksgiving. 3 whole days with you under the same roof. We'll have to be so careful." Derek's chair scraped backward. Lauren lunged for my phone. I held it out of reach and let the next message play. "I told him you're my cousin. He believed it. He believes everything I tell him." Her father stood up, face red as the cranberry sauce, and I just stood there, phone in hand, watching 15 years of lies unravel in front of 23 witnesses. If you want to know what happened when her cousin tried to run and why her mother threw the turkey at her own daughter, hit subscribe, because this Thanksgiving became a family legend for all the wrong reasons. My name is Nathan Cross. I'm 38 years old, and I'm a systems analyst for a healthcare company in Portland, Oregon. I'm the guy who fixes problems nobody else can see. Database errors, network bottlenecks, security vulnerabilities hiding in code. I find patterns. I connect dots. I solve puzzles. That skill saved my career more times than I can count. It also destroyed my marriage. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I met Lauren in college, Portland State, 2007. She was studying marketing. I was deep into computer science, living on energy drinks and debugging code at 3 a.m. She was everything I wasn't. Outgoing, social, the kind of person who knew everyone's name by the second week of class. I was the quiet guy in the back row who only spoke when called on. We met at a campus coffee shop. She was struggling with a statistics assignment. I helped her understand regression analysis. She bought me a coffee. We talked for 3 hours. 6 months later, we were inseparable. We got married in 2010, right after graduation. Small ceremony, close friends, a reception in her parents' backyard in Beaverton. Her family was big, loud, warm. Sunday dinners, holiday parties, cousins and aunts and uncles everywhere. My family was small, just me, my mom, and my sister in Bend. I loved being absorbed into the chaos of the Morrison clan. I thought I'd found my place. For the first few years, everything was good. We bought a small house in southeast Portland. Lauren got a job at a marketing firm downtown. I worked my way up from junior analyst to senior systems engineer. We had routines: Friday date nights, Saturday farmers market, Sunday meal prep for the week. We talked about kids. Maybe in a few years, she'd say, when we're more settled. I was fine with that. I wasn't in a rush. Looking back, I wonder if she was stalling.
The first time I heard Derek's name was 3 years ago. Lauren came home from a Morrison family reunion I'd missed because of a work emergency. "You would have loved it," she said, unpacking her overnight bag. "My cousin Derek flew in from Seattle. I haven't seen him since high school." Derek? I didn't remember a Derek. "Yeah, he's Aunt Patricia's son. He moved to Seattle for work right after college, software engineer. You two would probably get along." She showed me a photo on her phone. Group shot, 20 people, everyone smiling. Derek was tall, athletic build, the kind of guy who looked good in a casual button-down. "He's single," Lauren added. "I told him he should move back to Portland. The tech scene is way better here." I nodded, already thinking about the database migration I had to finish by Monday. I didn't think about Derek again. Not for a long time. The changes started small. Lauren's phone habits shifted. She'd always been glued to her phone. Social media, group chats, work emails. But this was different. She started taking her phone everywhere. Bathroom, kitchen, even when she went to grab the mail. She'd get a notification and her whole face would light up. Then she'd see me watching and the smile would fade. "Just work stuff," she'd say. But she'd angle the screen away. I told myself I was being paranoid. She worked in marketing. Of course she was always on her phone. Then came the voice messages. Lauren had always texted. Suddenly, she was sending voice messages constantly. She'd walk into the bedroom, close the door, and I'd hear her voice through the wall, soft, laughing, intimate. When I asked who she was talking to, she'd say, "Just Sarah," or "the work group chat." But the tone didn't match. You don't talk to your coworker Sarah the way you talk to someone you're falling for. I know, because that's how she used to talk to me.
6 months ago, I did something I'm not proud of. I checked her phone. She'd left it on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. No passcode. She'd always said she had nothing to hide. I picked it up. My hands were shaking. I opened her messages. Most of it was normal. Group chats with friends, work stuff, memes from her sister. Then I saw a thread that made my stomach drop. The contact name was Derek M. I opened it. Hundreds of messages, going back 8 months. I scrolled through them, my pulse hammering in my ears. I can't stop thinking about last weekend. When can we do that again? I miss you so much it hurts. I scrolled faster, further back. Photos. Not explicit, but intimate. Her in a hotel robe, him shirtless in what looked like the same room. My vision blurred. I heard the shower turn off. I closed the app, set the phone down exactly where she'd left it, and walked out of the kitchen. I sat on the couch, staring at the TV without seeing it, while my brain tried to process what I'd just seen. Lauren came out 10 minutes later, hair wrapped in a towel, and kissed the top of my head. "What do you want for dinner?" she asked. I couldn't answer. I didn't confront her. Not then. I know what you're thinking. Why not? Why let it continue? Because I needed to be sure. I'm a systems analyst. I don't react to incomplete data. I gather evidence. I verify. I build a case. So that's what I did. Over the next 2 months, I documented everything. I installed a recovery app on our shared iCloud account, completely legal since it was a joint account. I backed up her messages, her photos, her voice memos. I tracked her location when she said she was working late or meeting friends. I cross-referenced her stories with her credit card statements. And piece by piece, the picture came together. Derek wasn't her cousin. He was her ex-boyfriend from high school. They'd reconnected at that family reunion 2 years ago, started messaging, then meeting up. Seattle was a 3-hour drive, easy to do on a Saturday when I was working or visiting my mom in Bend. She'd been to Seattle 11 times in the past year. Every time she told me she was going to a marketing conference or visiting her college friend Emma or helping her aunt with something. Every time she was with Derek. The voice messages were the worst part. Lauren would send them late at night after I'd gone to bed. I'd lie there in the dark, listening to her voice through the wall, and wonder what she was saying. Now I knew. I'd recovered dozens of them.
I wish I could wake up next to you every morning. I have to see you soon. He doesn't even notice when I'm gone. It's like I'm invisible to him. 3 more months and we can stop hiding. I'll tell him after the holidays." That last one hit like a freight train. She was planning to leave me. She was just waiting for the right time.
Then came the Thanksgiving invitation. Lauren's mom, Carol, hosted every year. Huge production. 30 people, 2 turkeys, enough side dishes to feed a small army. This year, Lauren was especially excited. "Derek's flying in from Seattle," she said. "He's staying at my parents' house. It'll be so nice to have everyone together." She said it so casually, like it was the most natural thing in the world. "I didn't know Derek was that close to the family," I said carefully. "Oh, he is. We all grew up together. He's basically like a brother to me." A brother? I smiled, nodded, said that sounded great, and I started planning. I spent 2 weeks preparing. I organized every voice message, every text, every photo into a timeline. I created a folder on my phone labeled Thanksgiving 2024. I tested the Bluetooth connection to my mother-in-law's speaker system, the one they used for Christmas carols and birthday parties. I rehearsed what I'd say, how I'd stand, where I'd position myself so she couldn't reach my phone. I wasn't angry. That's the strange part. I was calm, methodical, focused. This wasn't about revenge. It was about truth. For 8 months, I'd been living in a lie, sitting across from her at dinner, listening to her talk about her day, knowing every word was a performance. I was done being the audience. Thanksgiving morning, we drove to Beaverton together. Lauren was in a great mood, singing along to the radio, talking about how good it would be to see everyone. "Derek's bringing his famous mac and cheese," she said. "You'll love it." "Can't wait," I said. She reached over and squeezed my hand. I looked at her, really looked at her. She was beautiful, smiling, excited, and in a few hours, I was going to blow up her entire world. We got to her parents' house around noon. The place was already packed, kids running around, football on TV, her dad arguing with her uncle about the best way to brine a turkey. Carol hugged me at the door. "Nathan, so glad you're here. Can you help me with the folding table?" I spent the next hour setting up chairs, hauling dishes, making small talk with relatives I'd known for 15 years. Then Derek arrived. He walked in with a Pyrex dish of mac and cheese, all smiles, hugging everyone like he'd never left. When he got to Lauren, he hugged her a little too long. She laughed, swatted his arm. "You're crushing me." He grinned. "Sorry, just missed you, cuz." Cuz. I watched them, the way they looked at each other, the way her hand lingered on his shoulder. Nobody else seemed to notice, or maybe they did and they just didn't care. Dinner was set for 3 p.m. By 2:45, everyone was finding their seats. Carol had assigned places, name cards and everything. I was at one end of the table, Lauren was in the middle, Derek was right next to her. I watched them sit down, watched her smile at him, watched him lean in and whisper something that made her blush.
Carol started bringing out food. Turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, green bean casserole. The table was loud. Conversations overlapping, kids arguing over who got the drumstick, someone's phone ringing with a FaceTime call from a relative who couldn't make it. I sat quietly, carving the turkey, playing my part. And then I saw it, under the table, hidden by the tablecloth. Lauren's hand resting on top of Derek's, their fingers intertwined, her thumb tracing slow circles on his palm, the same thing she used to do with me when we first started dating. Something inside me clicked. I set down the carving knife, pulled out my phone. "Before we say grace," I said, loud enough to cut through the noise, "I think everyone should hear something." The room went quiet. 23 faces turned toward me. Lauren's smile faltered. "Nathan, what are you—" I connected my phone to the Bluetooth speaker on the bookshelf. "These are voice messages," I said calmly, "that Lauren has been sending to Derek for the past 8 months.
Carol's face went pale. "Nathan, this isn't—" I pressed play. Lauren's voice filled the room. "I can't wait until Thanksgiving. 3 whole days with you under the same roof. We'll have to be so careful, but God, I've missed you so much." The room froze. Lauren's face went from pale to red. "Turn it off." I let the next message play. "I told him you're my cousin. He believed it. He believes everything I tell him. Sometimes I feel bad, but then I remember how good you make me feel, and I don't care anymore." Derek stood up so fast his chair fell backward. Lauren lunged across the table, reaching for my phone. I held it out of reach. Her father, Tom, was on his feet. "What the hell is this?" I looked at him. "Your daughter has been having an affair with Derek for 8 months. He's not her cousin. He's her ex-boyfriend from high school." Tom's face went from confused to furious in half a second. He turned to Derek. "You son of a—" Derek held up his hands. "Tom, I can explain." "Explain?" Tom's voice was shaking. "Your family." "He's not," I said quietly. "Check the family tree. Derek Morrison, no relation. Lauren made that up so she could introduce him without raising suspicion." Carol looked like she might faint. "Lauren, tell me this isn't true." Lauren was crying now, mascara running, hands shaking. "Mom, Tell me!" Carol's voice cracked. Lauren couldn't answer. The next message played. "After the holidays, I'm telling him, I can't do this anymore. I want to be with you, really be with you. No more hiding." Tom picked up the turkey platter. For a second, I thought he was going to throw it at Derek. Instead, he threw it at Lauren. The turkey hit the table in front of her, gravy splattering across her dress, her face, the white tablecloth. "Get out," Tom said. "Both of you, get out of my house." Carol was sobbing. Lauren's sister, Michelle, had her arms around her.
Derek was already moving toward the door. Lauren stood, shaking, covered in gravy, looking at me with something between rage and desperation. "You planned this," she whispered. "You planned this whole thing." "Yeah," I said, "I did." "You're a bastard." "Maybe," I said, "but I'm not a liar." Derek made it to the front door before Lauren's brother, Jake, caught him. Jake was a firefighter, 6'3", 220 pounds of muscle and rage. He grabbed Derek by the collar and slammed him against the wall. "You think you can come into our house and disrespect our family?" "Jake, let him go," Carol said weakly. "No." Jake's voice was ice. "He doesn't get to just walk away." Derek's face was white. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." "Sorry?" She shoved him harder. "You're sorry?" Tom stepped in. "Jake, let him go." Jake hesitated, then released Derek with a shove that sent him stumbling toward the door. Derek didn't look back. He grabbed his coat and ran. Lauren stood in the middle of the dining room, surrounded by her family, and for the first time, she had nothing to say. Her mother wouldn't look at her. Her father was shaking with rage. Her sister was crying. Even the kids had gone quiet, sensing something terrible had happened. "I want a divorce," I said. Lauren's head snapped toward me. "Nathan!" "I already filed. Papers were served to your office this morning. You'll get them Monday." Her mouth opened, closed. "I'm keeping the house. You can have your car, your clothes, and whatever's in your personal accounts. Everything else is mine." "You can't." "I can," I said. "Oregon is a no-fault state, but adultery still matters in asset division, especially when I have 8 months of documented evidence." I looked around the room, at her family, at the people who'd welcomed me, who'd treated me like one of their own. "I'm sorry you had to find out this way," I said, "but I thought you deserved to know the truth." Carol finally looked up. Her eyes were red, but her voice was steady.
"Thank you, Nathan." Tom nodded. "You're a good man." I wasn't sure about that, but I appreciated the sentiment. I grabbed my coat and walked out. Behind me, I heard Lauren start to sob. I didn't look back. I spent Thanksgiving night in a hotel near the airport. I ordered room service, watched football, tried not to think about the fact that 15 years of my life had just ended in front of 23 witnesses. My phone buzzed constantly. Texts from Lauren's family, her sister apologizing, her brother asking if I needed anything, even Carol checking to make sure I was okay. Lauren called 17 times. I didn't answer. Finally, she left a voicemail. "Nathan, please, we need to talk. I know I messed up, but we can fix this. We can go to counseling. We can—" I deleted it before she finished. The divorce moved fast. My lawyer was a woman named Sandra Park. She'd handled my colleague's divorce 2 years ago. Tough, smart, no nonsense. When I showed her the evidence, she actually smiled. "This is the most organized case file I've ever seen. You're a systems analyst, right?" "Yeah." "It shows."
Lauren tried to fight it. Her lawyer argued that I'd violated her privacy, that the evidence was inadmissible. Sandra shut that down in about 30 seconds. Joint iCloud account, shared devices, completely legal. Lauren's lawyer tried to argue for alimony. Sandra presented the affair evidence and the judge dismissed it immediately. In the end, Lauren got her car, her personal belongings, and about $15,000 from our joint savings. I got the house, my retirement accounts, and my dignity. The whole thing was finalized in 90 days. I ran into Carol 6 months later at the grocery store. She looked older, tired. "Nathan," she said softly, "how are you?" "I'm okay," I said. "You?" She sighed. "It's been hard. Lauren moved to Seattle. She and Derek are together." I nodded. I figured. "Tom won't talk to her. Michelle barely does. It's like we lost a daughter." "I'm sorry," I said, and I meant it. Carol touched my arm. "You did the right thing. I want you to know that. What she did, it wasn't right, and you deserved better." "Thank you." She squeezed my arm. "You'll always be family to us, Nathan. I mean that." I felt my throat tighten. "I appreciate that." We said goodbye. I watched her walk away, pushing her cart, and felt a strange mix of sadness and relief. I'd lost my wife, but I hadn't lost everything. A year later, I sold the house. Too many memories, too many ghosts. I bought a condo downtown, smaller, modern, mine. I threw myself into work, got promoted to lead systems architect, started mentoring junior analysts. I went to therapy, worked through the anger, the betrayal, the feeling that I'd wasted 15 years of my life. My therapist told me I hadn't wasted anything. "You learned what you won't accept," she said. "That's not a waste, that's wisdom." I started dating again. Nothing serious, just coffee, dinner, getting to know people. I was careful, guarded, maybe too guarded, but I was also free. 2 years after that Thanksgiving, I got a message from Lauren. It was long, rambling, full of apologies and regrets. She and Derek had broken up. She was back in Portland. She wanted to meet, to talk, to explain. I read it twice, then I deleted it. Some doors, once closed, should stay that way. I still think about that Thanksgiving sometimes. The look on her face when I pressed play. The sound of her voice filling that room. The moment her entire family realized who she really was. People ask if I regret it, if I wish I'd handled it differently. The truth? No. I could have confronted her privately, could have filed for divorce quietly, could have let her save face, but she'd made me a fool for 8 months. She'd lied to me, to her family, to everyone who trusted her, and she'd planned to keep lying until it was convenient to stop.
So I took that choice away from her. I gave her the same thing she'd given me, a public humiliation she'd never forget. Was it cruel? Maybe. Was it fair? Absolutely. These days, I'm doing okay. I've got a good job, a nice place, a small circle of friends who actually give a damn. I'm dating someone new. Her name is Rachel. She's a teacher. Honest, kind, real. We take things slow. I'm upfront about my baggage. She's patient. Last week, she asked me about Thanksgiving plans. My family's pretty low-key, she said. Just my parents, my brother, and me. You're welcome to join if you want. No pressure. I thought about it. About walking into another family's Thanksgiving. About sitting at another table, surrounded by people I'm just getting to know. I'd like that, I said. She smiled. Fair warning, my mom makes terrible stuffing, like aggressively bad. I laughed. I can live with that. Because here's what I've learned. The people worth keeping in your life are the ones who tell you the truth, even when the truth is that the stuffing sucks. If this story hit home, comment truth over comfort. If you've ever been lied to, if you've ever had to choose between staying quiet and speaking up, if you've ever blown up your own life just to stop living in someone else's lie, this one's for you. Hit subscribe for more stories about the messy, complicated, sometimes brutal truth of relationships. Because the worst betrayal isn't the affair, it's the lie that comes after. And sometimes the only way to get free is to let everyone see what you've been carrying alone.